Hey golf fans, this is early 1981 and welcome back to another episode of Meet the Designer. Tonight I am delighted to be joined by G-Force41, aka Gary, all the way from the United States of America, and we are going to be playing through his latest course. How are you this evening, Gary?
Oh, I'm great. Thanks. Thanks for having me.
No, it's an absolute pleasure. Thank you for taking part in this. So do you want to tell us a bit about your course, Gary, before we do hit the first tee?
Yeah, the RawHide at Santa Ynez I put together over the winter. I made it to be tournament ready. Made it a little more challenging. I wanted the greens to be a little more aggressive, shall we say, and I wanted to use a different theme that I used before, so it was a Delta theme. And a little rugged on the edges, but nice and smooth and rolling and fast and firm on the fairways and greens.
Fantastic. Really looking forward to this. I do know that Aces Are Wild talked very highly about this course, so I'm really looking forward to getting into this one. As you can see, guys, the fairways are firm, green speed is fast. We do have everything default except the wind speed and the wind direction. Now, Gary says for a more balanced round, the best wind conditions are medium and east, and there's also more challenging wind conditions, which I'm sure Gary may touch upon as we go through the round. But here we go, we are going to ready up and get straight into this one, guys. So what was your inspiration behind this course then, Gary?
This one was a little bit stream of consciousness. I was experimenting a little. Like I said, I wanted to use a different theme, and I wanted to get a little bit more aggressive with the greens. And I had learned a whole bunch over the late fall and into the early winter from just listening to other designers, and got some tips. And I felt like I really got a lot of great tips that helped me put it together. And I realized what I was missing on my other courses. And I had about 2 or 3 courses going at the same time, and this one just happened. I just started making hole after hole, and I said, wow, I just liked what was happening.
Yeah.
So I usually have a plan when I go into it, but this was just kind of start going, doing some macro sculptings, laying out some landscape, and then make the course fit into that landscape to make it look a little, give it that natural feel, which is what I go for, what I like. And it just really just worked, and I just kept going with it.
Sounds fantastic, mate. I'm really looking forward to getting in this, and perfect timing. So here we are on the first hole, which is a long par 5 playing 607 yards.
Let's get down there and do a bit
So
of
the first hole, I usually have a nice easy opening to the courses. I don't want the worst thing you could do is have a course that starts and you go OB left, right? Or you wind up taking an 8 to start, right? Who likes that in real life, right?
Yeah.
You step onto the tee after a hard week at work and you take a snowman. So anyway, let it rip down the hill, 600 yards, but downhill. You can get there in 2 depending on the wind. So it's an
Certainly is
easy
a
hole. You see a
monster
stroke in
first
there.
hole.
Oh yeah.
I'm just going to loft the driver up here a bit, let this hang in the wind.
Oh, we've got the wind.
look at this. Just caught it.
There it goes. So this car started as a ranch theme. The only idea in my head when I started was the ranch. And I said, where am I going to set the ranch? And it was thinking of something once I started getting this terrain out in Southern California. So I kind of thought in my head, where would that likely be? And I just thought back to my younger days. And I remember a ranch that was in the news a lot. President Reagan had a ranch just in Santa Ynez that he went to as a retreat and a vacation spot. And I just started thinking through it, and I said, you know what? I looked up a little bit of research, and his Secret Service name was RawHide. So I just thought it was perfect. I just decided it was going to be the RawHide at Santa Ynez, just for a little bit of historical perspective as well as
Yeah, I mean, what
golf.
a fantastic way to name a course, and it's a course that its name's going to grab your attention. It certainly grabbed mine. I think it's such an important factor to name your course well, because if it doesn't have a name-catching course name, a lot of players will just skip by it.
Right. And I want something a little unique, and so I thought that'd be pretty cool.
But as you can see, it is a long opening par 5, but with these wind conditions, guys, that Gary has specified that he's designed with the course with these wind speeds in intentionally you can easily hit the green in two, and both of us have walked off of there with a birdie. So let's move on to hole number
There we
two,
go.
which is a short par 4 playing 423 yards.
So this one wraps around the water. The idea here was not to make it reachable. Hence, that's why I got the water over there. But it's interesting to see some people play it. I've seen some people play some matches, and you see them in the tee box. You can see them moving their feet, they're twisting, they're turning, they're thinking, do you go, how far do you go? Do you go off to the side? I think I kind of achieved what I was going for on this one. It's just give you the decision off the tee. You can go driver, you can go 3-wood. You can cut that corner depending on the wind.
You do certainly have options, like you say here, Gary. Yeah, without a doubt. I'm opting for the big dog here. I'm just going to try and fade
this one's going to make it tough.
Rely on this wind just to bring me back a touch as well, and see if we can hold the left edge of this fairway. Come on, fade, hold.
This one looks pretty safe.
Depending on the kick we're going to get here, this could be decent. Is it going to sit down?
Oh.
That's going to be in the light rough. I can live with that, though.
Could have sworn that was fairway bound. No.
And you see here we're getting a little more aggressive with the greens. Nice big slope. A second tier to the right. I think that's hole location 2 or 3.
You can certainly see the challenging aspect on the greens, like you said, but I much prefer playing a course where you've got to think about each and every shot rather than, like you say, just let grip it and rip it.
Yeah, and that's what I was trying for here. Nothing, it's not too difficult tee to green. There's options and challenges.
Yeah.
Let's see.
I came up short on my approach there.
Get going.
Come on, run out. I didn't run out as much as I would have liked, but it looks like I'm going to have a straightforward putt for the par save. Green speeds are 180. And I do manage to scramble a par there.
Well done.
There we go.
Okay, 1 under for the round.
So he's still undefeated?
I'm still undefeated in the first 3 episodes, mate, which I'm amazed because I'm sure you guys have got the local knowledge over me, but it makes for an entertaining challenge, mate. But here we go, the first of the par 3s, playing 172 yards, stroke index 7.
Yeah, this is a nice little 3. Again, this is just a result of the terrain, and I built some terrain in and macro sculpted, and I saw this nice little hill and said, wow, it's a nice little spot. Put a par 3 in.
Certainly a beautiful par 3. I love this elevated green here. I really, really do. Well protected by that 2 bunkers. Absolute stunning hole, this one, Gary.
Oh, I pulled it. But I do like an elevated green or 2. You'll notice on my courses.
Yeah.
It's the Donald Ross fan in me. I play a lot of Donald Rosses around here.
Yeah, he's the main man when it comes to elevation, especially on greens. I pulled my tee shot there left as well. You're certainly getting penalised here for missing the greens from Gary because he's got the heavy rough severely around the greens, which I do like.
Yeah, I do like doing that on a few holes. Of course, you want to mix it up. But again, that's a little bit of a touch of Donald Ross. You see that a lot in his courses.
I haven't, have I?
Nice.
Oh,
look at that.
What a chip shot that is. Surely that one deserves a like on the video, guys, if you haven't done so already. Touch of class there. That was the Sevi Ballesteros in me. But we do move on to hole number 4, which is a short par 4, playing 387 yards, stroke index 13. And wow, what a jaw-dropping gorgeous hole this is.
Oh, thanks. I like this one. This one came out nice. This, again, just experimenting. I read a review of a course on the Fried Egg of a Donald Ross, and he just described this, what I thought was a relatively benign medium-length par 4, and he called it one of the best short and medium-length par 4s he's ever played. And I looked, I said, it's, there's nothing spectacular about the hole, but just strategically, he loved it. And I
Yeah.
just thought it was very interesting that most people will look at the hole and be, blah. And so what I did is I just read his review of it, and I tried to make this hole without, making it a real course recreation RCR type hole. I didn't measure anything. I just used the description to kind of render the hole in that spirit.
Wow, that the information we get from you designers and your thought process and your research on you set out holes and get inspiration from holes it's really fascinating. It's just intriguing.
Yeah, it's fun. It's you're always looking for ideas and inspiration, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah.
For the birdie.
So how long did it take you to design this course, Gary, from start to finish? How many hours are we talking about?
Yeah, it's hard for me to gauge because I have to do it in such short spurts. Um, but probably in the ballpark of 70 to 80. Um, I can only do it a little bit at night after the boys have gone to bed,
Yeah.
etc. Um,
Oh, good.
but what took a while here was getting these greens right.
Well,
I had to test it and test it, and just I go through the whole locations and
those ones will drop.
make sure that I at least get one pass of all 4 hole locations being fine, right? Because if you've got the yellows, I was playing a little bit of whack-a-mole with the yellows, and you don't want too much of that around the hole, or you don't want any around the hole. But what happens if you start flattening over here? You're gonna press it over here, and something's gonna affect the other port of the green,
Yeah.
etc. So just to get it right, it took quite a while, and it took quite a few passes on getting these hole locations right. So that was the most cumbersome, time-consuming element of it. Once I did it, I thought I was done. Nope.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Keeps.
so time consuming, and that's why I've got so much respect for you guys putting in. Like you say, you don't have the opportunity to have a continuous run on it, so you're doing it in spells. And honestly, the community truly appreciates guys like yourself, Gary, that's designing courses for us to play.
No, no, thank you.
But Donald Ross
Certainly
is
had
from.
fun.
He's not well. Obviously, I think he was around in the 1800s. I think he was born in the late 1800th century. But he's not. He was born not far from me up in Dornick.
And
Oh, really?
Yeah, and
I'd say
obviously,
140-ish yards.
I think he moved to. Is it Massachusetts or something? I do recall.
Yeah, he spent a
moved
lot.
his
He's got
family
a.
to America.
He did, and then I think he wound up in the Carolinas for a bit too, right?
Right.
That's where Pinehurst came from.
Yes.
But he's got a lot of courses around here. Yep,
Oh,
absolutely.
he's a legendary golf architect. He really, really is.
Yeah, and that's one of my earlier courses, Nahanset Country Club, which I just re-released as a 2019 version a few weeks
Yeah.
ago. That was inspired by, basically that's my vision of it's like a private Donald Ross.
Right.
Because occasionally I do actually get to play in a private around here. They do let me on a private, believe it or not. And there's one in particular called Pocasset that I just love, and that was kind of the inspiration around that one.
Wow, that is impressive.
Yeah, but this is a blend. I mean, there isn't, once we get rolling on the rest of the course, this is the first few holes had a little bit of the Donald Rossi kind of stuff in it.
Well done.
I think I put in my write-up that this would be a red blend if it was a wine, right? Because there's no one kind of theme to the design. It's just
Coming off up.
Yeah, it's like a
having some fun
hybrid.
with it.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
hole number 6 is a long par 3 playing 243 yards, stroke index 3.
Yeah, this one you got a runway here, so it's going to be fun with the wind. There's some slope to it, but it's big green. It's certainly gettable, but we got it in our face here. This is going to be interesting.
I'm gonna have to go
And again, I want the holes to play different wind conditions, right? I'm making it for tournament play. So there's an interesting little pin position up front as well. Get up there. He's gonna.
Here's a putt for birdie.
I mean, there's certainly lots of variations in this course so far. I mean, like you say, you've went out to achieve that, and you certainly have so many different options to play each hole.
That was the goal, so hopefully that made it fun. It's been in a whole bunch of places, so I'm very flattered by that. It was my first TGC tour-worthy course. It was in the casuals. So Chelsea's always been great for featuring my courses, and just was in the HB studios over the weekend.
That's fantastic. So there you go, guys. This course has made the TGC Tours, which is always a great achievement. It must be a good achievement for you as a designer, Gary.
Oh yeah, no, that was great when I saw that. It's you know, a lot of work I've done on the other courses, and you know, I think I was just off. I think one thing I learned was to look at my courses with a bit of a critical eye and realize where I needed to improve and kind of get these up to speed a little bit.
Yeah, but this is another long par 5 here in hole number 7, playing 594 yards.
Yeah. So this one is the opposite of 4. 4 just happened and it just worked. This one drove me crazy. I redid this one about 2 or 3 times before coming up with the final version.
Look at that thing fly.
Well, you can see how challenging the course is, guys, because you can see from my play, I'm not playing poorly or anything, and the both of us are just under par here. Our tee shots land side by side.
2:45 to go.
Really in between clubs here. What do I do? I try and hang this 2-iron up in the air and attack this. At worst, I'm in the rough. Gary's also done the same thing by the looks of it.
Hang on.
Nice swing.
Come on, stay up. Stay up. Stay up. Wind's not taking me around as much as would have liked, but the two of us are up there once again. Very similar shots, so you can see what the two of us had in mind, and hopefully we can be rewarded with 2 birdies here with 2 chip shots.
It was not nearly enough.
Oh, he has it, has he? Oh.
Nice. All right, nice.
Another good chip shot from me, and we should be walking away with our 3rd birdie.
Nice putt. And after that hole, you are now.
So,
all right.
the 2 of us get our birdies there, fantastic. So you're seeing the risk-reward elements of this course here as well, Gary, as we move on to hole number 8, which is the hardest hole on the course, playing 449 yards. Was this intentionally designed to be the hardest hole?
No, not at all. This was just to be a pretty downhill par 4. I'm shocked that it's coming up as the 1 hole. I'm also surprised that the front is playing harder than the back, which, you know, that's why the 1 hole is on the front.
Yeah.
I thought the back is much more challenging, and this was just going to be a pretty par 4. I don't know, maybe it's just a tight little fairway right here, and it's a little bit of an elevated green. But nope, it was not intentional at all.
The severe challenge to this hole, to be honest. Yeah, the fairway's tight, but that wind's going to be favourable.
And I keep pulling my drive on this hole.
I'm relying on this wind to hold me up here and hold this fairway. Beautiful scenery here. I really like this river running through it. Is that a river, Gary? Yeah, that's running through this?
Yeah, I was just a little river to go through it. Initially, it was going all the way through the course, but that didn't quite work. So I just had it wind around the corner there. But yeah, you know, this one, I just thought it was going to be a simple little hole. It didn't quite work that way, but we'll see. Oh.
Come on, wind. Oh, that wind's not taking me. I must have pushed that right there. Why? Could be in a bit of trouble here. Must have pushed that right.
Get up there. Whoop.
Come on, sit. Decent flop shot there. See if we can scramble the par.
Save par.
Managed to walk away with a par save there after
there you go.
missing that green. So maybe that one is quite deceiving. Maybe it does play slightly trickier than how it looks.
A little bit.
3
Yeah,
under
a little
par,
bit.
so.
It certainly stung Gary there with a bogey, but the amount of designers have said, no, look, this course wasn't intentionally meant to be the hardest course. It's bizarre.
Yeah, I'm always worried that they're too easy,
Yeah.
which is one of the reasons I wanted to make this one a little more challenging. Because you've got guys shooting 57, 58 out there,
That's
right?
right, yeah.
And you know, you don't want to make it intentionally hard just to make it hard. There's no fun to that, right? You gotta balance it with, you know, making it fun and playable. And
Yeah, definitely.
like I said,
As a golfer, mate, my perspective, you know, as a player of the game, I want to be tested. You know, I don't want to just
Yep.
be able to go and shoot, like you say, low 50s without any thought process. I like to be rewarded
right.
for my shooting.
So this one, oh, we've got the wind. You know what? Watch this.
This is
Well,
a relatively short par 4 here, uphill.
with the wind, it could be done.
You reckon? I don't think we could get up there, can we, Gary? Have we got the same? Have we got the same winds here? I've got like the wind blowing to the right, easternly.
Little bit. It's about going to about 1 or 2 o'clock.
Ah, we've got different winds here. Which
You're kidding.
No, my wind is going basically, I would say 3 o'clock on a clock face. So not a huge difference.
Interesting.
But I set the wind, so that is really, really strange. I'm just opting to play up the fairway here. But you've briefly touched upon it, Gary. Before designing a course, do you go and sketch things out? Do you have blueprints that you stick by, or do you just go out on a designer mode and just be creative?
Usually, yeah, I do have a little sketch, and believe me, it's a really rough sketch. I've seen some of the sketches people do out there on the forums, and when I mean a rough sketch, it's scribble, just to get the routing.
Yes.
You know, I kind of come up with a theme or an idea, and then I sketch out a routing, and just to keep myself focused when I'm laying out the holes. But with this, it was the opposite. I just, like I said, I did some macro sculpting. I did the water, which you'll see starting next hole, and just kind of, you know, went with it, and went with the terrain, and it just worked.
So do you want to touch upon briefly upon macro sculpting, because I'm sure some designers won't have a clue what you're talking about there.
It's just making some terrain, some bigger hills, giant hills. There's a brush which some people will call the explosion brush. That's a tip of the hat to Mr. Canuck, Crazy Canuck. He calls it the explosion brush. That you just raise the terrain and get some hills, some bigger hills, and then also I created the bay, which you're seeing right here as 10 moves out to the water. And that's the macro, the big picture sculpting. The little sculpting is the bunkers, the greens, the fairways, making sure that the tee boxes are flat and all that. So you can see there's hills on either side, and then there's a bay that, you know, I all had to create, which isn't that difficult. You see
Beautiful
there's
looking hole, so it really, really is. Absolute fantastic. And this should be reachable in 2 here, I would imagine, with a good drive.
Oh yeah.
Very tight fairway here, though. Don't want to miss this
Yeah,
one.
this one plays easy. This was 18 hole, I think, right?
This is going places.
I think this was the stroke index 18, Gary. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think you're right.
Yeah.
So once again, our tee shots are almost side by side.
There you go. Yeah, you put it in the fairway here, you're got a good chance.
Yeah, you can comfortably reach this in 2. I'm going to come down to the 2 iron here and try and sting this. 2 wood for me has just got too much. Use the wind and the slope.
Great contact.
You see there's a single tree behind the green just as an aiming point.
I think I've pushed that right slightly again, but we get a members bounce there and it's just going to hold. No, it's not. It's actually worked off, but we're going to have a little chip shot from just off the fairway. Oh, it's another attacking chip shot. Just misses out on the dunk.
right, drop this one in. This one for birdie.
Ah, not even close.
The greens are very challenging, as Gary said. I missed a little 4-footer there in the last hole for birdie, guys, and this is certainly no gimme from 5 feet out. It really isn't. We do manage to read that well.
No, mine either. I'm 7. Boy.
Oh, it just slides past. Wow. You really have to give these greens a lot of care and attention. Gary's in for this. Is that par, Gary?
Down to 4.
Yeah.
Par. So we do move on to another par 3 here on the 11th. And this one is playing, so we've got a lot of variation of par 3s here. This one's playing 180 yards and this one is stroke index 2. Beautiful looking hole, this one once again.
Thank you. I didn't think it would play this hard as well. I thought the next 2 holes would be tough on the back. You know, this is a big green. It's 3 tiers. You've got basically 3 sections. This is the middle. A little bit of a backboard if you need it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like a plateau green, isn't it?
Yeah, a couple. Let's see. Get
Fire
going.
the 7-iron at it and let the green bring me back here, but I think I've got too much club. Yeah.
How did I do that?
Just trickling off once again. So it's another chip shot. I've struggled with greens and regulations, to be honest.
I'm off. Okay.
Oh, sit. Wow, that must have caught a slope that I missed.
Too much.
Okay, 11-footer here. This is
I've
definitely
left myself an 11-foot putt here. Why?
Going right at the hole here.
Oh,
Solid
it drops
par.
in.
Nicely done.
But yeah, really enjoying the challenging aspect of this course. It's refreshing.
Get in.
Oh, wow, unlucky. Unlucky, that's a heartbreaker. Absolute heartbreaker.
There we go.
So, Gary, if you could give
round.
designers out there, which are the most of them that watch this will be avid designers, if you could give them one tip, what would your tip be on how to design a good
Par 4
course?
here. Let's have a nice.
Yeah, for me, it's trying to keep it real and realistic. You know, I love the extras a lot of people put in, but for me, you know, I don't have too much time for the extras. I'm just trying to make a real golf course that plays well, that's a good place for a tournament or a match. So with that in mind, I think the other thing is just to, you know, look at it with a critical eye. Make sure you're looking at it as somebody who's looking at it for the first time. You tend to get a little bit wed to your own ideas. You know, it's a good idea to think about what somebody brand new is going to think of it, or maybe an expert designer is going to think of it and say, does this really work? Does this look real? You know, is this slope
Liking this one.
natural? Is this sightline what you would expect on a real course? Can you see the bunkers? You know, you don't want any unintentional
So we have about 165
blind shots,
yards to
you know,
go,
etc. So it's just, you know, keeping your eye on the realism and making it seem like a real course that could exist somewhere.
Yeah, that's fantastic advice. And like I said earlier at the start of the video, the aces are wild. I can't recall where he mentioned it. I think it was the HP Studios forums, or it could have been the TGC Tours. He talked very highly of this course. Did he have any input into this?
He sure did. A great big thanks goes out to him. He was my secret last-minute consultant. I reached out to him as I put a beta out, which I don't usually do, and I wanted some advice for some expert designers, and he was more than happy to help. It was great. He jumped right on it and was giving me feedback hole by hole, and really liked the course, and so that was really great. It was really nice of him. And,
yeah, that's fantastic to get someone like him involved in the design process and getting the feedback that he gave you.
Yeah, and you know, point blank, hole 3 needs to go. Needs to change, right? Yeah, it was way too high, way too elevated.
You need honest criticism as well, you know. I mean, to get the best out of your course, I would imagine. It's another putt that I've misread.
And this next putt for par.
Ooh.
Tell you what, I put that 6 feet past.
Solid
There you go.
on that one.
Managing to scramble the pars at times today. My scrambling has been really, really good. It's the only thing that's kept me avoiding a bogey so far. So we move on to hole 13, which is a downhill par 4, playing 458 yards. It's another thing.
Now
this course is really
yeah.
natural. Sorry to interrupt you guys. Such a natural looking course, Gary. It really, really is.
Oh, thanks. That's what I was going for, certainly. So that's great to hear. This I thought would be the one hole, especially into the wind, because you're going back up this hill, and you're protected by bunkers on the other side there. This I thought would be the real pain in the you-know-what hole.
So this course is the one that you intentionally designed to play the most difficultly, hopefully.
This hole, yeah, I thought when I looked at it and I said this sight light's going to be awesome, and you know, I had to put a hole here. It just looked great. And then I realized I was going back up the hill, and I said, this hole's going to be tough to boot.
It is, man. I mean, I love the way, I mean, I don't know what to do here. I think I'm going to have to, I think I can play driver because I'm sure that uphill element's going to hold me up, but just the layout of this hole is fantastic. I mean, you've got the bunkers there, the way you've winded the fairway, you've got rough. I'm just seeing what Gary's doing. It looks like he's trying to go over the bunker here on the right-hand side.
Yeah, I had the wind, so I was trying to get it up there.
That's what I'm certainly trying to do as well. Following the route of the designer, we've managed to hit the fairway. Like Gary says, we've now got a really severe uphill slope.
All right, we're right around 125 yards
approach shot into this green. Really in between clubs here.
And this, if you don't hit the fairway, is a brutal shot.
Come on, wind. Come on, wind.
That's gonna have to
that's long. Is that going to hold? Just trickle out into the light rough once again. It's going to be interesting to see my greens hitting regulation here today, because I don't think they've been great.
It's tough the first time.
Oh, I've left that short. I played that with too much respect. That chip shot, far too much respect.
See what you can do with this 7-footer.
I've left that 7 feet short.
Oh, I did. I missed it. Oh, jeez.
Turn. Oh, my par putts have been phenomenal at times today.
Nice.
So that'll keep you
well done.
So, go to remain at 4 under. Gary's struggled the last few holes, but you can clearly see that this is a course that's going to bite you in the behind if you don't play it well.
Yeah, those few holes right there.
Another par 3, playing 190 yards, stroke index 4. So plenty variations in the par 3, which is absolutely fantastic. And it's another beautiful looking hole, this one, Gary.
Yeah, well, thank you. Yeah, I'm definitely the par 3s. It's something I'm thinking of, right? You know, keep it varied. You know, uphill, downhill, short, long, etc. You know, we're going right into it. This is gonna be an interesting shot.
Yeah, I mean, I'm lofting up my 5-iron here on the line on this wind to hold me up and hopefully bring me round. Oh, stay up, I'm short. Oh,
I'm way
just
long.
a touch too short. I think I would rather be short and past this hole though, to be honest. And this heavy rough is brutal. 67 to 74. Let me see, I'm probably going to have to do off this a touch. Tough shot coming up.
Having a little trouble on my own hole.
Come on, release, release, release. Yeah, I've left it a bit short. But yeah, I'm really enjoying the challenging aspect of this course, which Gary G-Force 41, his designer name is set out to achieve. And as you can see, he's certainly achieved that.
Great putt, and that is
I mean, straight away, this is a course that I'm going to want to come back and better this score with the same conditions.
Oh.
And it's going to encourage me
I'm
to
having
do
a little trouble here at my own hole. This is kind of how I play them in real life the past couple of years.
Yeah,
My
so
goodness.
Gary is a keen golfer. What is your handicap again, Gary? You did say
Well,
previously.
it's about 16 now. Back in the day before I had kids, I was down about a 12. I was as low as a 10 at one point.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's good
but
though,
I've
mate. And what courses do you play? Because we do have a lot of Americans that follow the channel. Some of them may be on your doorstep.
the in real life
Yeah.
or yeah, in real life around here,
Okay, let's
there's
see
like I
what
said,
happens
there's
here
plenty
on
of
this par
Donald
4.
Ross courses. I kind of
Let's
go all
go ahead and
over
drop
in
this
New
one
England,
into the fairway
Massachusetts. I
and take
play
it
in a
from there.
club that's a traveling club, so
All
we
right.
play for real. You know, gross and net. I'm supposed to be playing real rules, keep a handicap, and all that good stuff. So no gimmies and mulligans.
Yeah.
And I don't get out there with them as much as I used to, but we go all over Massachusetts, New Hampshire, even Maine, Connecticut, Rhode Island.
Wow, that's
And we get to
fantastic.
play yeah, we get to play some privates too.
Why? So you're not a member of one club? No, you just travel
No, that's
the
right.
state playing courses.
Oh no.
Okay, so hole 15, medium length par 4. I'm just sending us down the right hand side off the fairway and looking for the wind to bring us back. Looks like Gary's in the bunk. Oh no, he's in the rough. What theme is this, Gary?
Delta.
Yeah, I thought it was Delta. I
And from
wasn't
here,
sure if it was rustic
we're
or
right
Delta,
around
but yeah.
170 yards out.
It started off as rustic.
Right.
Like I said, it was the ranch was my idea to start, and I was kind of going with that rustic theme. Um, it's funny. One of the courses I had in mind was one of my first favorites before I had a clue what I was doing. Jupiter Ridge. I think that's an Arctic Fury course,
Yes,
and
it
it had
is.
a very that rough kind of beige, rough, brownish look to it. And I'm like, wow, this looks awesome. And that's what I set out to do initially, and I just couldn't pull it off. So I said, you know what, let's go with the Delta and try to get some water holes in here, etc. But that's kind of how I started this one.
Well, it's certainly a fantastic course. I'm really enjoying my time out here. A lot of people, sadly, will probably downgrade this at scoring because of the difficulty of it, but once you find out that the designer has intentionally created this course to be as challenging as this, then you're going to realise that he's achieved what he set out to do.
Okay, let's see if you can
Yeah,
save par
and
here.
there's different settings and whole, sorry, tee
Good spot
boxes,
there.
right? And I
Yeah,
think it's a fun place for a match, to be honest with you.
this would be a brilliant course for match play. It really would. I think it's
Yeah.
got everything for match
Okay,
play
let's
because
get
there's so
right
many
there at 4 under
windows
half
of
an hour.
opportunity for a mistake that your opponent can make a mistake. You might make a good shot, and I just feel it'll be such a great game for a match play
Coming
event
off
here.
a par on the last one.
So
Let's
hole
see
number
what happens
16
here.
is par 5, playing 563 yards, stroke index 16.
And this one goes up the hill a little bit. We're getting to the end here. Pretty straightforward. Not a lot of magic in this one, but again, very tough if it's into the wind. Um, but it's not, like I said, super challenging tee to green. There's a little bit of slope on the green, and you see it's playing to the 16 on the stroke index. We've got the wind in the face here today, so that's gonna make it a little tougher to get there. Or not impossible.
Solid swing.
Yeah, we'll get there in 3, I would imagine. So, is there any other designers out there in the world of Golf Club 2019 that really inspire you, Gary, and make you want to design?
Well, like initially what I was saying, those first few courses were, the Arctic Fury courses, and then what really got me interested was the guy by the name of Taste GW, right? And early
Yes,
on.
yeah, I do recall him.
And when I started doing this, I had no idea what I was doing. I mean, none. And I went out and I found his videos on YouTube, and that was my eureka moment. This is how you lay down a green or a fairway, and holy cow! And this is how the sculpting tool you need to sculpting tools you need to get your greens and your fairways and everything looking realistic. And so his courses I just thought were amazing. Now I know he's not designing anymore, but that was kind of the inspiration on how all this started. Um, But
Yeah,
yeah,
I think
there's.
he used to be design a lot in the golf club too, if I recall.
Yep.
Yeah, he doesn't. I can't recall him doing any work for the golf club 2019, unfortunately. But I know exactly
Oh, how did I
the
run
gentleman you're talking about.
How did I run that past?
Oh, turn. Oh.
Turn in there.
All right, give this one a finish.
Ah,
and
the
we'll move on.
golfing gods are not with you tonight,
Almost
Gary.
had a birdie there. Just wasn't meant to be, I guess. 4 under for the round.
So, we do move on to the final hole of this fantastic course. Oh no, hole 17.
17.
Oh, I'm above myself there. Wow, hole 17. So we move on to the penultimate hole of this fantastic course, the RawHide at Santa Ynez, and it is a medium length par 4 playing 450 yards. Looks like we've got an extreme dog leg right here.
Yeah, this one it's plenty of fairway to hit. Fairway's a little sloped, and you see the green is surrounded by fairway because this is pretty sloped. But I kind of wanted that almost, I want to say, Augusta feel to it, right? If you don't hit the green in the right spot, it's going to roll off.
Yeah. This really is a fantastic course. I'm really enjoying it. Your sculpting is very, very clean and deliberate, and like you say, you touched upon your macro sculpting, which I think is. I've never really known exactly what that terminology is, but you've explained it a lot clearer than, and I do know more about it now. But just a fantastic laid out course, Gary. Sculpting's clean.
Oh, thank you.
Each and every hole is such refreshing. It's like no hole's the same. Very, very.
Yeah, and thank you for pointing that out. That is something I'm trying to do. I think one of the I don't want to be critical of anyone, but a lot of what I notice in some of the courses is you're going for a theme or design, and the holes kind of run together.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They don't stand out.
Too similar.
Yeah, too similar. Yeah. So the trick is you need to get it to be familiar and have the same look and feel, but everything have its own kind of personality to it.
I must have pulled that approach shot hugely to the left. Not a bad recovery putt though. It didn't turn as much as I expected.
5-footer here, nothing too bad.
Set up a simple 5-foot putt for the par, which
Nice
we
putt,
do
we're in the hole. Good stuff.
knock in, and hopefully we can avoid a bogey-free round
That'll
here.
keep you at 4 under for the round.
So Gary, the final question that we have asked everyone, and this is just a totally off topic of golf. What is your favourite cheese?
Hole number 18.
I'm an Italian from New York originally, Parmesan.
Parmesan cheese, there you go, guys.
And the real one, not the stuff you get in the can in the store that you sprinkle on the pasta, the real block of cheese.
Yeah, you've got to grate with a massive grater, yeah. I've seen the
There you go, a little wine with that.
Films, mate. But here
the
we
little
are,
block
guys.
of cheese.
Final hole, absolute majestic looking final hole, and it is a long par 4 playing 509 yards, stroke index 6.
All right.
Wow, this is a really nice hole to finish off here, Gary. I really like it.
Thank you. Can I find a fairway finally? Nope.
So, does this course have a clubhouse? Just spotting that out there. No.
Yeah, a little in the back, a little bit. The routing didn't quite. Like I said, I was doing this a little bit of stream of consciousness. You can see it just behind it, behind 18.
Yeah, I just wanted to point it out because you'll get folk that'll criticise. Oh, there it is. Yeah, we do see it. He's got no clubhouse, you know. So,
Yeah, no, it's kind of minimal on purpose. Like I said, this is a course built around a ranch.
yeah, it's fantastic, man.
Yeah, it's not, giant private clubhouse kind of course.
It really is a fantastic course, and you can see why TGC Tours have approved it. Is this going to sit? Go on, sit down. That's a great golf shot there.
Nice shot.
Just running out a little
Unfortunately,
touch.
I'm playing a little bit the way I play in real life the last
20 feet.
few holes.
Right, the last one didn't turn as much as I expected. Go on. Can we finish with a birdie? Oh, we just burned the edge.
Close.
Hopefully I can drop
Here we go,
this and
let's drop this and get
have
your
a
putt.
bogey-free round here at the RawHide at Santa Ynez, which I've
Nice
achieved.
putt, you're in there.
But there you go, guys. Absolute fantastic course from GeForce 41. Like I say, he's intentionally designed this course to play difficult and test every golfer's abilities. And like he says, you can make this play easier by choosing easier or closer tee sets. And we will put in a video description Gary's recommendation of the wins. But there we go, guys. Santa RawHide at Santa Ynez by GeForce 41. Absolute subliminal course. Really enjoyed it. Played like a real course, Gary. I'm certainly going to give that a favourite and a 5-star. A lot of people think that, oh, you're too kind to people, but I'm not. I'm being honest. If I felt that was a 4-star, I would have had no qualms of telling Gary that. And Gary, as a designer, would prefer I was honest anyway and gave him constructive criticism.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that, sir.
Course. Really enjoyed it.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for hanging out with us on the channel, Gary, and taking part in Meet the Designer series. Have you got any other future courses in the works just now that we could look forward to playing?
A little bit. I'm going a little bit different. I've got a local Muni, like a little bit of a change of pace, a Muni theme that I'm almost ready to maybe do a beta, and then I'm doing one that's a little bit more coastal as well that I've just begun. So
fantastic.
Something might be out soon.
Yeah, well, we'll certainly keep our eyes peeled. But there you go, guys. Look at the fairways, the greens in regulation. 61% I had, Gary had 50%. And this is a challenging course, and it was designed to be that way. But that is it for today's video, guys. If you did enjoy it, please hit the like button. If you are new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. And until the next video, I'll see you all then. Take care, peace out, and love you all. Bye.